What's up? What's going on, everybody? It's Kev Pro Dev here, and I wanted to give you guys, just a breakdown of my mindset as I'm learning how to code, self-teaching myself, or as they call it, self-taught. Becoming a self-taught developer. Just my mindset and my journey on where I'm at. Like really, right now I'm learning React, and as I was learning React, I got pushed, sort of say, out of curiosity to learn Next.js because as I learned React, I was like, man, I really want to make some meaningful projects that I can put and go live on, right? I can put them on a host, a server, and I can actually show like a real live. I want to make a real live project. That's what I'm really trying to say. I want to make a real live project. So I start learning like, hey, you need to have certain things more than just knowing how to learn JavaScript, which is like, which is all good. I'm learning JavaScript and React every day. I try to keep learning more and more and going over what I already know, what they can do, what's the boundaries of the programming language and stuff like that. But I'm also kind of pushing myself to become more diverse where I can build like an actual project that can go live. So I ran into Next.js in my travels of study on the internet, and I have fell in love. Oh my God. Like as I research about Next.js, when I first read about it, I was like, what is this? Like, why do I need all this other stuff around React? Like, React itself is already a little confusing. And I'm like, now y'all put Next.js on top of it, it's like it's gonna be more confusing. But it's not. Like once I got into it, I got into the space, I kind of, stretched a little bit. I've really come to find out I love it because they make stuff very easy. It take care of a lot of things that is around React. They take care of a lot of things like authentication. Did I say authentication? Authentication. It take care of API routes. It take care of URL paths. So depending on, if let's just say I had 1,000 items on my page, if you click one of those items, I don't want to code up 1,000 pages for every item. So I will use React and make a component that resembles the actual items, and then I'll use Next.js to basically make dynamic pages. So now, no, all I have to do is build basically kind of like a template or a page that represents all these 1,000 items. Every time you go to a product page, they all gonna look the same. They're just gonna have different data. Just like Amazon. Amazon, if they had to code all them pages by hand, it would take forever. But they use things that's dynamic. So we know when you go to Amazon, the page generally looks the same for every product. You know exactly where stuff is going to be, the title, the price, the prime, which is very important because I like to have my stuff in 2 days or less. Images, you know where the reviews are at. So no matter what product you go to, basically the page is basically set already. And Next.js helps me with that. So I love Next.js and how I can push my boundaries and my limits of, like, I only know so much of React and JavaScript and CSS and all the frameworks, SCSS and, SAS and all the. As I'm learning more about being a web developer, Next.js is kind of like holding my hand around certain complicated things. And I'm willing to learn those complicated things because Next.js has made the experience more conducive for me, right? It made it easy for me. So now like the code to write a API is it's really not that much code to write an API in Next.js. And if I had to write that with Node and Express, yes, I'll be more versatile. But when I do it with Next.js, it helps me conceptualize what Node represents, what Express represents, what React represents in the stack, what Mongo or any database represents in the stack. I have a better appreciation for other things, other languages, other programming languages, and what they serve inside of my tech stack of what I like. So as I learn more about Next.js, it actually pushed me more to learn more about Node. It pushes me more to learn about Express and how to create API routes just purely in Express, and understanding, databases and how to pull data and how to fetch data, how to populate components, how to optimize images. I just learned a lot of things in coding around React and Next.js that have opened my eyes up to a lot of things. So now it's like I wish I had more time to like dive deeper into more things, but I understand that it takes time to learn this stuff. I can't go 1,000 miles per hour through all the languages: Express, Node, JavaScript, React, Mongo, maybe throw in some PHP. All these things are languages, and just like a speaking language, it takes time to get used to that language. So I just want to encourage people like myself and others that's probably experienced. Yes, coding is difficult, but it's very rewarding for me. And it can be rewarding for you if you just take the time. Take the time. And I'm learning as well. As I learn new code, I have to sit on that code. Don't go too fast. Even though I get it, right? Like when I look up something, I get what they saying. Like, oh, I know what you're saying. All right, we can move on from there. Not true. Like, I get it, but actually, all right, use that. Like, make sure you know it, right? And when I know it, I can tell someone else about it. That's how I know it, right? So this is why I love doing my YouTube videos. It gives me the ability to basically say what I know. If I don't know it, then I wouldn't be able to tell you. So that's what I love about Next.js. It just gives me the ability like to go through these worlds like that. All these programming languages. Far as like different technologies and the way they look at stuff, methodologies on how they look at things. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys. If you've come to my channel and document my process as I'm on my way to being a web developer and just making a better future in the present with code. I really appreciate the opportunity that coding gives every developer. We have the ability to work anywhere in the world because it's so diverse. It's so it's not constrained to a location. It's not constrained to a education of a college or anything. And I don't down any college or schooling or nothing like that. Everybody's route is different. And I love that. Like when you meet people that are in the coding field, everybody has a different route of how they got into coding. It's not a standard path. Like if you think about it, if you wanted to be a doctor, there is a set path. You just can't go out and be a self-taught doctor, or maybe you can, but I don't think you should. But you can do that with code. You can go out and make your own process, your own path to being a coder, a developer. So I really think that's cool because you tend to find a lot of different people that have different backgrounds, different stories on how they look at things, and they have different skills too. Like certain people are good at certain documentation, certain people are good at talking about certain topics, certain people are good at drawing, certain people are good at looking at ideas and conceptualizing different methodologies and stuff like that. So it just makes a really great playground for ideas to flourish. And I think that the coding or just the tech field in general has so much opportunity. It's ridiculous. And I think that's really where I want to go. And I'm just going to keep pressing myself forward, even with my full-time job that's not in tech. I believe that I'm going to cross over into the tech industry of being a web developer, and I'll be another one here to prove to you guys, that it is possible if you put your mind to it and stay focused. So that's my talk for the week, and I hope you guys have a good day.